All right, Frank, tell me about the Catalina Marathon you were just talking about. When was it? When did it happen?
It was the 10th running of it.
The 10th one?
Yeah.
You've done it 10 times already.
No, I didn't say that. It was the 10th running of the Catalina.
Oh, the 10th and whatever. Okay, the 10th run. Okay, how many times have you done it before?
I've done it twice.
That was your second time, the one you're telling me?
My first time.
The first time you did it. Okay, all right. How old were you?
I'm trying to think. It was 87.
1987. Okay.
Yeah, so I was
Amazing.
34.
Okay. 34, 87. And where is this? I'm not familiar with geography here. So Catalina, like, 'cause I know there's the islands over there. So where was the marathon at?
Where was it?
Yeah, where was the run?
On the island.
Oh, it's actually on the island.
Yeah. It's
What
on
the?
island.
You take a boat. Everybody takes a boat.
Yeah,
The ferries.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of course I've heard of the island. I had no idea there was a run over there. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, the marathon goes from the isthmus, backside of the island. It's and then comes up about the halfway point. You come up a valley
Yep.
and get up to the ridge
Yep.
and just stay high on the ridge all the way to about mile 22 or something, and then it you're above Avalon, which is the big city there in Catalina, and it just within about 2 miles it drops about 2,500 feet
Okay.
to bring you down to basically sea level.
Yep.
So anyway, yeah. So I didn't even know. I didn't know how to approach the race. I didn't know.
You mean because you weren't familiar with the territory and?
Well, no. Didn't know anything about what the course was going to be like exactly, but I knew it was hilly. But I didn't know shoe-wise whether to go in racing flats or trainers that have more cushion and stuff. So to play it safe, I went with trainers, and was just cruising the first half of it, feeling pretty good, and then picked it up about the second half and got up to the top of the ridge and didn't really realize, I knew I was probably up, pretty good in the field, but didn't know exactly where I was place-wise until I, came down and finished and found out that I was like about just a little over a minute past the first place guy. So
Oh man.
anyway, but yeah.
So when you finished, what was your place?
Huh?
So when you finished the race, what was your place?
Second overall.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. To this guy named Bill McDermott that was he's won it about 8 times or something.
And that was your first time running, and you
Yeah.
came in second place to him, that's amazing, dude. Oh my gosh.
And then I've got another hilly marathon that I did around that same time over by Lone Pine.
Okay.
The foothills below the Sierras,
Yep.
below Mount Whitney Portals,
Okay.
that area.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one marathon up there was called the Wild Wild West Marathon,
Okay.
and I've run that twice. For my first time running it, I got to the start, and I'm kind of the start of the race was the first mile was brutal, straight uphill. It's I think I ran a 9-minute first mile on that. It was terrible. But before the race started, I was kind of surveying the field, and I kind of checked out this one guy that looked like he was probably you know, pretty good runner. And sure enough, he was. He was the one that was like in the lead on that thing. And so after the first mile, he was in first, I was in second. I was chasing him the whole way. And he ended up winning. I ended up second overall. And to this day, we still have the 2 fastest times on that course.
Shut the heck. Well, from that particular race, you all set the records that have not been beaten.
Yeah.
Oh,
Still do.
that's such a crazy story that both of those were, you were second, but it was like the other guy was like the master of the course, basically. Just ran it so many times.
His name was Steve Flynn, and he and I became really good buddies, you know. But he's phenomenal. He has won this race down in down south called the Western Hemisphere Marathon, which is down by like Inglewood, down in that area. Anyway, he had won that race, that marathon, like about, I don't know, 8 times or something. So he's a way better runner than I am. You know, like my best marathon time is 2:29. He's like under.
You've done a 2:29, bro?
Yeah.
Where was that? When you did?
2:20.
When did you do a 2:29?
81.
81. What was the race?
It was Oakland Marathon, flat course.
2:21.
I just ran real even splits the whole way.
So you were late 20s at the time.
Yeah, it was 81. Yeah, 29.
Dude,
Yeah. So,
that's legendary, man. Oakland 2:29. Wow. Oh my gosh.
anyway.
But so you're saying that's out of all your marathons, that was your fastest time ever at 2:29? You think?
Yeah, that is my fastest.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've got a few that are in the low 2:30s, like at St. George Marathon in Utah.
But when you did the 2:29, do you recall like what may have fed into that, like that super performer?
Here's what fed into it. I had done like some 100-mile weeks leading up to it.
Oh.
I did, and I'd never run that far before ever. So I had about 2 or 3 weeks at 100 miles, like about a month before the race, and then about 2 weeks before the race, I got really sick. And I was totally out of commission.
What kind of, like, food poisoning or flu?
No, flu.
Okay.
So I was out of commission for a week. And actually that did me a favor, because had that not happened, I probably would have put way too much pressure on myself for that race.
So it's almost like an enforced recovery.
And well, here's what. If I hadn't gotten sick, I would have been really pressuring myself to excel at that race, and I probably would have done crappy there, or just so.
Oh my
gosh! But
gosh.
because I got sick,
Yeah.
I just went in with a fuck it attitude. You know, it's like
no pressure.
whatever happens, you know. And so all the pressure was off, and I think that's what helped.
But how long in advance before the race did you get better? How much time did you have between, like?
Only about 3 or 4 days.
So you were like 3 or 4 days before the race. You finally were feeling okay.
I was starting to feel better.
Shut the fuck. Dude, and so you ended up running your best marathon ever. What? But see, that's what I was saying is, do you feel like part of it was, since you were sick, it almost forced your body like into recovery, to take a break?
For some rest time.
Yeah,
and then
rest time.
The real thing
was the mental.
So
so you think it was more that?
Just took all the pressure off of me.
You were like, so you were thinking, man, I'm not going to run well at all.
No, I wasn't thinking that, but I was just thinking, whatever happens, you know.
Okay. Well, then
I was going to give it my best shot regardless, but it was like, whatever happens, you know. It was like, no.
Let me ask you this. Did that experience of having that and realizing, whoa, this, like, just letting go was actually really helpful, did you apply that to later races? Was it a lesson for you? Or did you fall back into the pressure of races?
For the most part, I kind of would get caught up with putting too much pressure on myself.
Really? You
Yeah.
fell back into that?
Yeah, it's just my nature. It's just my nature.
Push yourself.
I'm very competitive, and yeah. So
But you would think that your best time comes out of this. That would have, well, that's amazing.
yeah.
Wow. What a story, man. What was the name of that one again? The race? The 81, the best time?
No, that was just the Oakland Marathon.
The Oakland one, that's right, okay.
Yeah, and then I was the other second place that another bridesmaid thing was I've run St. George Marathon about 4 times, and the second time I ran it, I was second master.
What does that mean?
Master is 40 and above.
Okay. You got
40 and above.
So you got second place in that category.
I got second master.
Gotcha.
And first master got a trip to Japan.
Oh.
The marathon in Japan.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it's off by 1. about a minute or so difference on that one too. So,
Did you ever do a marathon in Japan or any race? I'm sorry, a race in Hawaii or Japan or overseas over there?
no.
Everything's been here in the States?
Yep. So
All up and down California.
yeah, and New York twice and Boston once.
Well, thank you.
New York and Boston, they were like the last 2 marathons that I did before getting injured with my Achilles getting inflamed. That was back in '96. And so on those 2 races, the Boston in '96 was the 100th running of it. And so my running club, the Aggies.
Oh,
Aggie.
like agricultural from Cal Poly or something, or?
No, Aggies. They were a group of runners from the Bay Area that used to run for UC Davis Aggies.
Okay.
And back in the '70s, they decided to start their own running club, and so they called themselves the Aggies after their UC Davis Aggies.
Okay. Aggies being like agricultural like students or something
No,
like that?
that's the name. That's UC Davis are the Aggies.
Oh, but where does that name come from? Do you know? Like, I don't know. I'll look it up.
It's like Cal Poly is what the Broncos are.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, okay. So in Texas, there's Texas A&M. They're called the Aggies.
Yeah,
They call them.
Same deal.
Yeah.
Same
Well,
deal.
they call them Aggies because it was an agricultural
Well,
school.
It is sort of an ag school.
Okay. Gotcha.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was just trying to understand.
So in '96, it was
The running
100th
group.
running of the Boston, and our running club, the Aggies, they had in the late '70s they formed, and then right after they formed, there's a race up in Bay Area, Beta Breakers, which is like the biggest race in the world, probably over 100,000 people in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it attracts world-class runners. So the Aggies decided they were going to start this new division called the Centipede division. And the Centipede is 13 people all hooked together with a long, 65-foot long sheet with holes put every 5 feet, And so you got 13 runners all hooked together, and they ran the Beta Breakers, and their goal was to stay up partying all night prior to the race, and then get up and go out and beat the first woman that's a world-class woman, like Greta Weitz or what's her name, Joan Benoit. And anyway, they beat the first woman like 90% of the time. So anyway,
In the Centipede outfit.
Yeah, and
hung
they're
over.
and all linked together, they still beat the first woman. So anyway, in '96, the 100 weren't running. The Aggies, and also we were sponsored by Reebok. So Reebok and Power Bar sponsored us to put a Centipede team together to go run Boston for the 100th running. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be running good enough to be included in that group. And so I did Boston as part of the Centipede, running, it was a slow 2:57, but
Slow, okay.
I mean, we were lucky that we didn't go down in the first mile of that thing, it's so crowded. So anyway,
So it's like a spectacle.
So we did that. We did Boston as a Centipede. Then 6 months later, New York Marathon. Reebok wasn't interested, but Power Bar wanted to send us to go do the New York Marathon as a Centipede. So I got to go back again.
So you said the sheets like just hanging over. You got the hole. It's over your head.
Yeah,
and it's just
it's like panels, alternating panels. For Boston, it was alternating panels of Reebok and Power Bar.
Oh, okay.
And for the New York one, it was all Power Bar.
Okay.
So we were just a shameless self-promotion kind of.
And it's just hanging over your shoulders like that.
Yeah, it's draped down like.
Oh, okay.
Like about like this.
So your arms are swinging underneath it, or are they sticking out? Okay.
Yeah. And when you're running, you have to kind of like stagger yourself, offset from the guy in front of you, so you don't clip your feet.
Oh, zigzag.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Fascinating.
So Power Bar sponsored us to go do New York, so I got a chance to go back and do it once again, and we ended up doing another 2:57 back there for that. And
how many people did you say were in the Centipede on these?
13.
13, dude.
Yeah.
What? So it sounds like you kind of enjoyed it. It was like a novelty thing to do.
Yeah,
like you enjoyed it.
It was a kick in the pants. Yeah. So.
You didn't mind being stuck in that thing behind somebody. It was just fun to.
Yeah, no, it was a hell of a good time.
I guess you ran so many races. It's like whatever. You get do a couple.
It was just really unique, So. But then the following year, I got my work. I was like doing double time work at my job.
At the time, were you doing engineering?
Yeah, I was more of a biomed engineer.
Was that here in SLO area?
Yeah.
You're living here, working here, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I worked for I was in dialysis and the chief technician in their dialysis unit, and we were hospital based through San Luis General Hospital. And anyway, the doctors wanted to take their practice and go private with it. So I worked with the doctors to set up their new clinic, which is on Marsh Street, and so I was helping get their new clinic up and running, while at the same time maintaining the existing one at General Hospital. So I was like doing double duty, and my running was going all to hell. And then finally, in the summer of '97. Finally got the new clinic to the point of opening up, so I got to sort of back to basically a single job, and so I started running up, and I came down here.
How many hours a week were you working when that was that hectic period?
I was probably doing 70 hours a week.
So it literally was 2 full-time jobs almost.
Yeah, I was usually doing 70 hours.
How long did you do that for? The crazy.
Almost a year.
A year, double duty. What the heck, bro?
Yeah. So
hopefully you made a lot of money.
So then when the loads finally started easing up, I came down here to the beach to go try to get my running back on track, and I hit it a little bit too hard, I guess, on my first run.
Oh.
And ended up inflaming my Achilles.
Okay.
And that put me out of commission for years. Put me out of commission for like about 6 years. I couldn't get over the
When you say out of commission, you mean like you could run but not to your level, or you just couldn't run at all?
No, when I ran on it, it would get inflamed to the point that I couldn't even walk on it the next day. So then I'd give it a day rest, and then come back and do it all over again.
6 years of that.
Yeah. And
what did you?
I'd like tried everything to try to get over.
Yeah. Yeah. You told. What did you do in those years for? Did you distract yourself? I think you told me you got into like offshore rowing for a while. Was that during that period, or did you do something else?
Yeah. No, I was doing the outrigger canoe paddling, and I was biking.
Okay, so you stayed active other ways.
Yeah. No, and I was running, but I couldn't get it going. And then I finally got my ankle better by finally resorting to taping the hell out of it.
The Achilles issue?
Yeah.
That was the key?
I just used it because I had taken a class at Cal Poly from the athletic trainer there.
Yep.
On it was a training class.
Okay.
So I learned all the taping techniques for injuries, sports injuries.
Yep.
Anyway.
So that was the key to getting over there.
So I finally.
Was that? Okay, let me ask you. Was that frustrating? At the end of the 6 years, you realized taping. That was were you like so mad? Like I could have taped myself like 6 years ago.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have been a whole lot better if I had come upon that realization and not lost all that
What a
time.
lesson. Okay, so you taped it. You were able to run. Eventually, were you able to run without the tape? Was that the idea?
Yeah. After about 2 months of having my ankle totally locked up, I was running with the tape on it.
So you said it was locked up. So you just no movement whatsoever.
Yeah.
You needed that.
I just totally taped the shit out of it. It played havoc with my skin because I wasn't putting any underlayment under it because I wanted the tape to have like the full effect.
But did you Okay, I see. In that period for the recovery, did you keep your ankle taped 24/7 and in addition to, or was it just during the runs?
No, 24/7.
To give your ankle a break essentially.
Yeah.
To let it heal. Wow.
And so after about 2 months of that, it basically immobilized to the point that everything kind of healed up and ended up.
It's like a cast to give it a break. That's amazing that your body was trying to heal itself for 6 years. When you finally gave it a chance to, it did.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, anyway.
Wow. That's another crazy story, man.
But my running never came back. It never got back to where I was.
All right, for folks watching the video, this guy ran like I don't know how many 13 milers just the other day at a great pace. So when he says he didn't come back,
no, I didn't run it at a great pace. Not compared to what I used
for
to
normal people, he ran at a great pace.
Yeah,
he just did this recently. So
like 9-minute miles where I used to run at 6-minute miles.
Well, you told me you did 5-something minute miles for a while.
But 6-minute, I would be able to do that every day of the week. And then when I pushed it, 5.5-minute miles.
Well, I mean, that's understandable. You said you were taken out for 6 years. It's like, that's a heck of a break. But you expanded what you did, biking and other things, to the outriggers. That's cool. Well, I'm glad you're still running, man. Like I said, the reason I wanted to talk to you about this and get some of this on video is because you have so many awesome stories, man. And I just feel like I've heard some of them, and it's like, oh, bro, like somebody else needs to hear these. You got to share them with people, man. Other runners, other people who are just curious. I mean, there's some people who live for this the way you do. I mean, it's like you said, this is one of the things that it's part of your identity, man. It's why. Good stories. Oh, thank you, Frank. Like I said, that's what I wanted. I wanted to capture. One of these days, we'll do another video where we talk about Taco Bell and
Taco Bell diet plan.
More about like the history of Taco Bell. Yeah. Actually, real quick, but we have to squeeze that in.
All my PR marathon.
Yep.
Was on. We went out. My buddies and I were up in the Bay Area at a motel in Oakland. And we had gone out to like this big sort of like family style restaurant deal for pasta feed. And we sat down for our spaghetti feed and all that stuff. We get back to our motel room, and I was going, I got to have my Taco Bell fix. And so I go, where's the closest Taco Bell? And so the one guy that knew the Bay Area, he goes, well, that's over in Berkeley. So I drove over to Berkeley to go get my 2 burritos to scarf on prior to the race. That was prior to doing my PR marathon. So
that was the Oakland race. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Wow. So even since back then, so that was 81. So for those watching, Frank still eats Taco Bell like pretty much daily.
And it's like a ritual. It was like all my marathons, like back at St. George Marathon, I would go out to Taco Bell the night before and get burritos as part of the.
Oh, so the Taco Bell was the night before the race.
Right, the night before the race. Yeah.
Did you eat anything? Did you eat anything right the day of the race beforehand?
No.
Just water. That's it. Yeah. Well, okay. I'm glad we got some of the Taco Bell legend in there, because that's definitely legendary, man. And the fact that you still fuel yourself on it. And Frank has tried he's done keto. He's done other stuff. You know what? He always comes back to Taco Bell. Vegan, and he always comes back to Taco Bell. And that is what is like.
It's my ritual.
I don't know. He's got the genes for that. That's awesome. Well, like I said, Frank, thank you. I just wanted to capture some of these stories. We have the Taco Bell one in. Next time you can tell me some other races. Someday I'd like to hear about what Cal Poly was like back in the day, maybe, and some of your adventures then. And maybe some of the outrigger stuff too. That sounds fascinating. But battery ran out. Yep.
Yeah.